1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, this is crazy. People are already in. Hold on, let me mute this. People are already in the house. Yes, yeah. Yo, Leighton, I'm like 1 minute late, bro. 1 minute late. Yes, yes, yes. Good evening. Tommy Temper is in the house. Peds is in the house. God of War. Yes, yes, yes. Who else we got? We got Leighton Evelyn is in the house. Georgie Porgy. Georgie Porgy is in the house. What's my sound like? What is my sound like? How am I sounding? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay, guys? Pets, can you hear me? Leighton Evelyn, can you hear me? Aaron Mason. It's cool. Aaron Mason, good and clear, says Tommy Temper. Perfecto, says Peds. Yes, yes, yes. Aaron Mason in here, loud and clear. I can't hear myself in the mix. One on momento. 1 2 1 2. Okay. Right. Wow. Okay. Excelente. Excelente. Okay, guys. I knew there was something missing. I always like my background music. Always. Yeah. There it is. Perfect. Perfecto. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Shola Ibofin in the house. I think I've got everybody. I think everybody is in here. I can't believe I started so smoothly. I set up the live chat, set the reminder, and then all I had to do when I came back was click a button. Yeah, the beats are going. The beats are going. Can you hear the beats? It's really for me. I like music in the background. Always like music in the background. Okay, so it's the official start. It's the official start. Uno momento. Let me check. Let me check out my levels. Okay, it's all good. Right. Okay, yes, yes, yes. It's Raphie Dawkins, Combat Radio. And this is a special edition as a result of the Eddie Hearn, the Pet says the Magic Mark carpet music. As a result of the Eddie Hearn statement earlier on today, I'm gonna go back into my history and bring it up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go back into my own channel and bring it up. 1 second. 1 second. Has to say about.
He's not tied up like the slave contest. Why do we have? He's not tied up like.
Uno momento. Let's kill this music here and go over to Eddie Hearn. Hopefully you can hear him. Okay, so this is what Eddie Hearn said earlier on today. And I know that the LBT people are going to have a field day with it. So that's why I convened this meeting. But for anybody who didn't hear it, this is what Eddie Hearn said.
He's not tied up like the slave contracts of yesteryear. When I was running boxing, it was much easier. We were slave traders.
We were slave traders. He's not tied up like the boxers of year to year.
We had these guys and they were working for us and we was the boss.
We had these guys that were working for us and we was the boss.
The pendulum has swung. Now I have to say, Mr. Gilliamore. I have to be respectful. And it's really a nice position to be in because we can be honest with each other. Dillian, you're not under a long-term contract, but we like you. And Dylan's had tremendous offers from around the world, but he's backed himself. He's going to be a major player in his mind for some time to come.
So those were the words of Barry Hearn. So let me just go into the chat here. Yeah, loud and clear. Audio is fine. Sound check. Leighton Evelyn says, so Raph, it's Ruiz as hold on. Leighton Evelyn just said, so Raph, it's Ruiz as Joshua's opponent. Is that correct? Has that been confirmed? They say Ruiz is official. It is official. That is official. Breaking news, Raph, says Leighton Evelyn. Joshua v. Ruiz is official. Okay, well, I'm shocked. I am happy. That was what I wanted. He was, if it wasn't going to be Adam Kawanaki, then I wanted it to be Ruiz. Yes. I'm happy with that. That's what I wanted. Ruiz. Mike Copperfield leaked it, says Leighton Evelyn. Ped says I need to make a vid totally. After the stream, this special has finished. I will be making a vid, no doubt about it. I was one of the first. I was the first channel that I had ever seen that had mentioned Ruiz's name. Ruiz is the forgotten man. As it happened when I was on TBV, he actually came on. We actually did an interview. I liked Ruiz from before. I thought that he beat Joseph Parker, albeit by a slim margin. I thought that was a hometown decision. Yeah, I thought that was a hometown decision. Good, good, good. Just hope, Leighton Evans says, just hope Joshua's got his A game on. Well, he's got to have his A game on. He's got to have his A game on. You know, it's a world championship fight, Leighton. So there's no ifs or buts about it because Ruiz, I think a lot of people don't know Ruiz. That's why they're underestimating him. I don't understand why, for anybody who knows Ruiz, knows his come forward pressure style. I don't understand how Hamed, yes, what's up in the house? Good. Hamed 92. Very good friends with BFTB is Hamed. Oh no. They don't like each other, which is understandable. Who likes BFTB? I find him amusing. Yeah, but I don't understand why Ruiz was so lowly regarded. To me, he's as good as Miller. So I don't understand. I do not understand. If people underestimate Ruiz, they are in for a bloody shock. I'm telling you. People best go back. Anybody who doesn't know him, best go back and watch some of his fights. Watch his forward aggression. The guy is no joke whatsoever. Serious dude. He's a serious player. So the disregard for Ruiz. It really needs to stop. The guy knows his stuff. He really, really does. Ruiz is official. Leighton Everin, home cooking. Could be a banana skin, says Leighton Everin. It could be a banana skin, but I mean, Joshua knows what he's getting into. He knows Ruiz. He knows he's going to have to be on his A game. He knows his jab's going to have to be good. He knows he's going to have to come across with the right hook regularly. He's going to have to pound Ruiz's face into a hamburger patty. You know what I'm saying? He's really going to have to, he's going to have to be sharp. Clip him up. OTKP has come through. He is in the house. This is another guy from TBV. I gave him an invite and he has come through. Yes. Respects, Raphael. Doing your own stream. Yes, this is the third one. OTKP. It's the third one. Who's the bug-eye? Who's the bug-eye dwarf? The bug-eye dwarf is BFTB. Georgie Porgy says, Ortiz last night, he looked like shite. PC Jacob is in the house. BTFB is hilarious. Ped says, yep. Hamed, the midget, 2-foot dwarf. I was in, interesting fact, I was in a chat, not a chat. I watched a video of Jagba, FA Jagba, and BTFB commented. I've never seen him anywhere commenting anywhere outside of his channel. And he wrote, and I kid you not, he wrote, I'm literally half of this guy's height. Half of this guy's height. So if FA Jagba is like what, 6'5", 6'6", so that makes BTFB 3'3". Interesting fact. 3'3". Okay, Fireman's in the house. Big up, Fireman. 76 Rogers. Yo, Raphie, big up, bro. Big up to you, my friend. Thanks for coming through. Georgie Porgy says, don't forget to support the channel. I've got 18 likes already. Matter of fact, I'm going to join you guys. I'm going to like it myself. That's 19 likes. Much appreciated. I've got to show my appreciation too. The geezer. What's up? Do you reckon AJ will stop Ruiz? He's going to have to put a beating on Ruiz. He's going to have to put a beating on Ruiz. And Ruiz is, listen, I rate Ruiz highly. I am a fan of Ruiz because of his come forward aggression. He's never been dropped as far as I know. Certainly never been stopped. This is a real fight, and I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to be making videos about it because people are underestimating. AJ is going to have to put a pounding on that guy's head. They say people are saying go to the body. I say head first. Okay, they say kill the body and the head will fall. But Ruiz is shorter. So I don't see why AJ should give up his height and go down to the body. Go down to the body in the clinches, absolutely, but not from a distance. In the clinches, dig to the body. But from a distance, it's use the length. Use the length. AJ must use his length. Yes, Georgie Porgy. Ruiz versus AJ, I've just been told, is official. I haven't been on the internet for a while. I respond to people on my phone while I'm out and about, while I'm at work. But to actually sit down and look at videos, etc., and check the news, no, I haven't done that since about midday. So, but people, obviously, this is one of the good things about the stream. People will tell you things you haven't seen for the last 6 hours. I've not been on the internet, so to speak, other than on my phone, responding to people. I try to respond regularly throughout the day. Who's this? This is 68's Boxing Scrapbook Ode to Wisdom. LDB, first of all, thank you for coming through. LDBC all day. What? You want to be us? No, 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 no. Not at all, Mr. 68. But good for you to be here anyway. Will Riggs, big up Raphie. Big up you, Will. Thanks for coming through. Craig Welsh Boxer. Yes, I think I sent you a message notifying you of the live stream, and you are here. Thank you. Leighton Evelyn says, hit the likes. Yes, people are hitting the likes. We're up to 25. We're up to 25. I am excited. Hamid, got a spanner. What does that mean? What's the spanner thing mean? I know what it means. We're good so far, though. Tommy Temper, smack the like button. Yes, PED, we are killing it. Yes, we are. Foundation people in the house. I think it's going to be a real good card. It's going to be a real good card, and it's going to be a real good scrap. Fireman says that should be a good. It's going to be a bloody good fight. Mark my words. Mark my words. I hear you, Hamid. I hear you. A lot of body to get. Yes, a lot of body to get. But like I say, people are saying he should go to the body. I say he keeps his length on the outside. When he comes in, turns him left, right, turns him. Trap an arm. Trap an arm. I'm a big believer in trapping an arm. Digs to the body. Then finish off with the head. With a shot to the head. Come out of the clinch. That is my recipe. A Boxing and Blunts is in the house. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you, A Boxing and Blunts. Leighton Evelyn said, told you LDBC would be here. Of course. Of course. Pedro. Haha. Right, Leighton Evelyn. As was on B. Yes. Okay, Marty Fieldman is in the house. Marty Fieldman's asking me if I ever did pirate radio. I used to DJ at the youth club, my friend, back in the Dizzy, spinning the discs on the desks, on the decks. Hitting and holding is allowed on on the street, says Tommy Temper. Yeah, trap the arm, dig to the body, release, boom, one on the outside. Off you go. Reset, let's go again. Unrivaled boxing, this chat is madness. Yeah, that's a good thing. Hey, boxing, Ped, Tommy Ruiz gonna get that bag and a sore face. Yes, he's going to get a sore face. There is no doubt in my mind. Where are we? Okay. I think everybody's in now and everybody's settled in. We're 20 minutes deep. We are 20 minutes deep. So I think at this stage, okay, right. At this stage, we can go ahead and get into the topics. Unrivaled Boxing says this chat literally looks like a UK LDBC. Yeah, the difference is we have logic in here. We have logical people, Unrivaled, and people are allowed to disagree with me. That's a big difference. People are allowed to disagree with me. People are allowed to express their own opinions, their own feelings, their own views. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of this. So far from the LDBC, this is open-minded people from the UK. No super chats. Hey, super chats is coming, Tommy Temper. Don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? If we got any rich people in here, they're more than free to contribute in the future. In the future. Oh yeah, yeah. They're very. They can be very harsh over there. It's a different scene over here. Different scene over here. Okay. There would be 250 mods in here if this was. Yeah. If this was LDBC, everybody you see now would have a spanner. Everybody you see now would have a spanner. Unrivaled Boxing says salute to Heyman and big up to Deontay. Well, I don't know about that, bro. I ain't saluting him. I ain't saluting him, and I ain't bigging up old Windmill either. You know what I mean? Yo, those guys are not on my Christmas card list. Okay. Ahmed is saying spanner. Forget about the spanner for now, Ahmed. Forget about the spanner. There's some lieutenants ahead of you in the spanner. For due the spanner, my friend, when it's needed. You know what I'm saying? But definitely. Don't worry about the spanners for now. Okay. Yeah. Longest reigning champion says Unrivaled Boxing. Yeah. He certainly is. Unrivaled says no. Tommy Temper says, have you been on the sherry, mate? Have you been on the sherry? The sherbet? Have you been on the sherbet? Okay. Day one Peds is in the house. He knows what's up. He knows what I'm saying. You know, certain men have the Winchester in their lap. Wilder is a paper bomb champion. I was on BFTB and they're saying that Joshua was a paper champion. Well, if Joshua's a paper champion, how is Wilder not a paper champion? DJC Rock is in the house. What's poppin'? He says, yo, it's good to have you, DJC Rock. Yeah. Ped says he knows what I'm talking about. The geezer is in the house. And he mentions White v. Rivas. I would love to know. Okay, so we're going to get into this thing. We've just been chatting amongst ourselves for 23 minutes. Leighton Evelyn says you schooled him. I've been on there a couple of times, bro. I think I put my work in. I think I put the work in. You know, it's hard to get in with BFTB. He talks over you. So it's difficult to get a word in. But I think I put my foot in his gut for sure. That's what people are telling me. Jake Cleary is in the house. Jake Cleary is in the house. Yes, Jake. Just started these things with 3 deep. This is the 3rd one. And it's good to see you. Yeah, he hung up. Jake Cleary says gremlin on the run from Raphie. I called him a gremlin because he likes to curse people out. I called him a gremlin and he hung up on me. For the amount of abuse that BFTB likes to give out, I call him a gremlin, which is relatively mild. And the dude hung up on me. What the hell? Ahmed, Ring IQ and Dawkins both schooled BFTB. Ring IQ. Yeah, Ring IQ was on there too. Okay. Yeah, that guy shouts a lot. Yes, blessed to everybody, one and all in the chat. Okay, right. I've got over my setup jitters. Our setup was ridiculous. It was good. Yeah. Fireman says, Raphie, y'all need to stop giving that man BFTB so much press. Well, that's true in a sense, but in another sense, if people go over there and see what he's about, then it's like something else. It's something else. He's the worst of that clan that I've ever seen. But I like to debate, so I can't lie. I will be over there again, and I will be debating that man again. Yeah, Aaron Mason says you're keeping him going by debating him. You should ignore him. That is a point. That is an observation. Yeah, you got to call him on his BS. I like to call him on his BS. I go there probably once every 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to go over there, but if you want to see somebody at the outer edge, the extremes of ignorance and belligerence, he's worth a look. He's worth a look. Ped says he hasn't been over there. He's worth a look just to see the extreme belligerence and ignorance. It's mad. But anyway, we're deep into this thing. I called the meeting because I know that them boys over there, I know them not at all. Scant Rant is in the house. LDBC representative Scant Rant is in the house. Getting ready to report back to the generals. The LDBC generals. Okay. Right. Pet says, nah, I've had enough just with TPV. Nick Diaz is in the house live from California with a blunt. We got a real fight, AJV versus Ruiz. Yes, we do. Jay Cleary says, Scant Rant. We think he's a gimp. Oh, the geezer. He's a funny little... Listen, I don't care what anybody says. He's the funniest gremlin I have ever seen. I thought gremlins were fictitious characters, but no. That dude is a real life walking, talking, swearing, screeching gremlin. Nick Diaz, 209. Scott Stockton is in the house with his blunt. Okay, now, the chat was so live. I haven't even got to my topic sheet yet. But here we go. We're into it. Right. Daniel Dubois versus Latte. Daniel Dubois versus Latte. I didn't have any particular expectations of this fight. The most I've heard of Latte is that he had a very good record. I think he only lost once. He's got comes from multiple nationalities. When you check his social media, he comes from Africa, he comes from Stockholm, he comes from this place, that place, multiple identities, multiple different names. Sometimes he's got a middle name, sometimes the middle name changed. So he's one of those guys. He's the same category of Ortiz. He just got that passport and you don't know if anything on it is correct. You don't know if anything on that passport is correct. One thing we do know is his age is not correct. His build as being 25 years old. He looks like, facially, like he could be older than Ortiz. The guy looks like he's 45 minimum. But I'll give him his due. The guy is in shape. He obviously trains hard and regularly. And the guy was fit and cut up. Fit and cut up. So, round one, Dubois comes out with the jab, stiff ramrod jab. Impressive. It's used it frequently. They tussled and exchanged some serious blows were swinging. Round two was more of the same. Round three, Latte caught. I think Latte caught. Yeah, Latte caught Dubois in round three. And Dubois stepped back, recomposed before coming back in. Round four, Dubois hit Latte. I think it was low. I think it was round four. Low, it was on the hip, much like Amir Khan got hit. Similar place on the hip. They took a break. This could be round three. Took a break. And Latte comes back with a heavy crack to Dubois' facial area. Made Dubois step back, recompose, and then they got into it again. Round four comes out, and Dubois comes out with what was it? It was a left hook right to the body, I think. Right uppercut to the face, and right hook drops Latte to the seat of his pants. It was a very impressive combination. They had a good bang up, says the geezer, while it lasted. Very impressive combination. Dropped Latte to the seat of his pants. Latte was up for the count of 8, but still looked dazed, and I commend the referee for waving the fight off. If it had let him continue, it just got his brain scrambled even more. It was unnecessary. So the ref called it off. Latte went back to his corner. It was all good until he regained his composure, got his head back, and then he started making a bit of noise in the corner. But he was finished. He was done. Well and truly done. Let's see what the chat is saying. The geezer, they had a good bang up while it lasted. Yes, they did. Marty Fieldman says Latte forced Dubois to fight. Yes, he did. Dubois took a good few punches. Would have KO'd some. I agree. I've never been as impressed with Dubois as I was on the weekend when I saw him fight Latte. I've had questions about him. There's still questions because he's a prospect. But today, it was a proper, that day, Saturday, it was a proper tear up. Pablo is in the house. Big up, Raphie. Big up you, Pablo. Dubois looks good, says Leighton Evelyn. He does. I was impressed. I was seriously impressed with him. There's been a lot of chat about him being a prospect. He's going to cut, but that was the first time I looked at him and I said, you know what? Yeah, you could be the real deal. If they keep you on the upward progression. And Latte, I was impressed with Latte. I want to see Latte come back and fight other prospects. I want to see him in there with the likes of Gorman. You know? Latte, he's only 21. Dubois is only 21, and Latte is only 4 years older. Latte is only 4 years older, according to his passport. Reality, 24 years older. Yes, big up Pablo. Pablo's in the house. Leighton Evelyn. Dubois is only 21. So was I. He did answer some questions, says the geezer. Yes, he did. Certainly did. Okay. So we're going to talk about David Price versus Allen. That's on the card of the press conference. David Price versus Allen. To me, I think Dave Price, he has a habit of gassing out by the 5th round. He has a consistent habit of gassing out by the 5th round. I don't know why. When the 5th round comes around, it doesn't matter how he's looking in the 4th round, how good he was looking in the 4th round. The 5th round comes around and he's gassed or starts gassing. So for that reason, I say that David Allen is going to, okay. Leighton Evelyn says Price is going to get him early. Okay, well, I think that Dave Allen, his gas tank is going to last longer than Pricey. So Price is going to gas. This is my prediction. Price is going to gas around the 5th round. Dave Allen is going to outlast him, and Price is going to drop. He's going to drop. He's going to be a knockout, and he's going to drop mainly by fatigue. He's going to be so tired that Allen's going to hit him with a punch, which is not the hardest punch, and he's going to drop and stay dropped, primarily out of fatigue. That's my prediction. Okay, Leighton Evelyn. Price is going to get him early. Tommy Temper. Price needs a TUE. Yeah, I don't even know if a TUE would help him. He needs some of that GW. He needs some of that GW 15-16 that Miller was on. He needs to talk to Miller and see if he can get all of that stuff exempt on his TUE exemption. Allen's going to jump to punch him on the chin, says the geezer. Now, when he starts getting tired and he drops his hand, he's just going to have to punch upwards. Or just go to the body. Kill the body in the head with a fall. That's what they say. I think Price will knock him out, says DJ C Rock. Interesting. Tommy Temper, TUE for his endurance. Yeah. Pablo, I think if Allen trains like he has been lately, he will KO Price within 6. I concur. It may go a little longer. I say take it up to 7 or 8, but I believe he's going to drop him. Primarily, though, I think Price is going to go down through fatigue. Something wrong with that guy's gas tank. I don't understand. DJ C Rock, but Price's chin is suspect, though. Well, there you go. That's the thing. Tommy Temper, Price needs EP. Price needs to see if he can get a TUE exemption for EPO. And he doesn't need the GW50. Yeah, it does the endurance as well. EPO with the GW15, 16. That's Price's best bet. Shola, you're both in. Good call, Raphie. Price has terrible stamina issues. Terrible. They won't get drug tested. Cost too much, says Leighton Evelyn. I wonder if they will get drug tested. You know, that's like 30 grand a year. Pricey, for a big fella, Tommy Temper says Pricey might have small lungs. He may do. He may have a genetic predisposition to small lungs. Who knows? His lungs could be the size of a normal person's kidneys. And that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Okay, so we've looked at Dubois. We've talked about Pricey. Oh yeah, okay. So the next thing, WBO have dropped Miller from its rankings. So we talked about this last week. What was going to happen to Miller? New York State Athletic Commission, it seems they can't do anything about him other than not reissue his license. And I told you, my view is that next year, my view is that the next big thing is that there's going to be legal proceedings potentially between Miller and the New York State Athletic Commission. When he asked them, why are you not giving me a license? I've done nothing wrong. They say, you failed a drug test. He says, who was the sanctioning body? They say, nobody. He says, so give me my license if there was no sanctioning body. WBO has the other bodies followed suit. No, not as of yet. So far, it's just the WBO. Like I told you, Tommy, a lot of people disagree with me, and that's cool. I like that. That stimulates debate. The other bodies, I speculate that the other bodies are looking through their statute books. They're consulting with their legal firm, legal people, to see what their actual position is. What can they legally do? I still maintain it's a legal minefield. Leighton Evelyn says, but when will his ban start from? When he applies. Exactly. When will his ban start? And where does it end? What can New York State Athletic Commission say to him? What can they say? Well, he can say, well, when's my ban start? They'll say, well, from the time you failed the test. He'll say, well, who was the officiating body that governed the test? They'll say, nobody. He'll say, give me my license because I'm not banned. People are saying that no, he's going to get, no. I'm saying they're going to go by the law. You're going to have to go by the letter of the law. And in the letter of the law, this whole thing is a massive gray area. I'll go further. Because there was no officiating body governing those drug tests. I'm not talking about the drug testers. I'm talking about the body that was over the whole procedure. There was nobody over the procedure. Literally nobody over the procedure. I'm telling you guys, this is a legal minefield. I'm telling you guys, mark my words. Miller could walk away from this almost unscathed. Reputation scathed, but he could walk away from this because it's a legal minefield. For people who don't want to give him a license, he can say restriction of trade. It's a restriction of trade. Give me my license or I'll take you to court. I'll earn millions in the ring. If I don't earn millions in the ring, I'll earn it out of the ring and you will pay me. So, I think less people are disagreeing with me now. I think the penny's dropping. The penny's dropping. It's all about the letter of the law. And I hate to say it, but he's in a not as bad position as people choose to believe. Okay, let's get to some of these comments. Where will his band start from? Exactly. Question mark. Where does his band start from? Says Leighton Everin. The Geezer. Crazy situation. Yes, it is. DJ C Rock. I see other bodies following suit. I see other bodies following suit also. But in the meantime, I believe they're checking with their legal firms. They're trying to establish what their legal position is, what they can do and what they cannot do. Because if they do something that is beyond their remit, then they could come under legal, right? There could be legal ramifications. Boxing is still run by the mob. Well, not the conventional Italian mob, but obviously in every field you have certain hierarchies. And there is hierarchies in boxing. Certainly, absolutely. Tommy Temper. Tommy Temper says it's a farce. It is a farce. It's an absolute farce. And I was on Ringside Reporter. I'm not afraid to give him a shout out. I pop over there from time to time. I enjoy the show. A very comprehensive coverage. I said what I said to you. Beeb said I was trolling. I said, Beeb, I'll make a video and you can tell me where I'm trolling. I'll make a video, post a link, and you can tell me where I'm trolling. Sometimes people have this issue, well, what you did was wrong, therefore you're in trouble. Not really. Not really. You're only in trouble if the law says you're in trouble and if it's written in the letter of the law that you're in trouble. The law says, the governing laws of boxing says there has to be an officiating body overseeing drug tests. There was no officiating body because the guy wasn't licensed. So we have an issue. Leighton Evelyn says it might change the law in boxing. It has to change the law in boxing. My proposal, I don't know if I said this, but I said it in a video. My proposal in the Miller video, my proposal is that as soon as a boxer is assigned a co-main event position or main event position on a card, that boxer then has to, well, not even the boxer, but the promoter has to establish that boxer is licensed in the area that they're going to fight. Has to ensure that boxer is licensed under the relevant officiating body. Has to do that. So immediately the wheels are set in motion. That's A. And B, as soon as that application is sent, then the boxer, whether he's received the license or not, but as soon as it's sent and as soon as they say, yes, it's confirmation email, we have received your application. As soon as they send that confirmation email, we have received your application, you are now operating under their jurisdiction and under their laws. Even though they're still processing the application, if you violate the laws of that governing body, then that violation is legal. And they have a position where they can say, okay, you violated the laws, you failed a drug test, so now you have to suffer the ramifications of failing the drug test. The Geezer, send Miller back to kickboxing. Well, yeah, send him back. Cheats never prosper, says Pablo. Serves him right, what happens? Yeah, well, he cheated in a huge way. Single governing body required in boxing. Well, yeah, that's more officiating, but still. Yeah, but even them, yeah, Tommy Temper. Yeah, that's more officiating, that still. But perhaps you need a body above all the governing bodies. So all the governing bodies agree a set of rules and they have a body above them, almost like an arbitrator. They certainly need an arbitrator above them. Scan Rand said, yeah, Beeb and them guys are good. Absolutely. Okay, Jay Clear is talking to Scant Rants. They're going to have a little conversation there. Yeah, an overruling body, Tommy Temper. Okay, so we've covered that. What time is it now? Okay. Dubois. Okay, Dillian White. This is our last topic before we get to the main topic. So, Dillian White versus Oscar Rivas. And King Slender is in the house. King Slender is in the house. Yes, King Slender, how's it going? Good. Good to see you. Good to see you in the place. Right. Okay. So Leighton Evelyn says great fight. Yes. We're looking at Daniel Dubois versus... No. We're looking at Dillian White versus Oscar Rivas. Oscar Rivas. Okay. Let me just check something here. Live now. Yes, I am live
Oscar
now.
Rivas.
What the hell is going on? Kill that sound. 1 second, folks. Okay. I'm in 2 different places, seeing 2 different things in 2 different places. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Okay. Right. So. Right. Daniel Dubois. Dillian White versus Oscar Rivas. Okay. So. Oscar Rivas. Serious competitor. Silver medalist in the Olympics. So you know he's got a pedigree. He's got a real pedigree. Up against Dillian White, the guy who only had 7 amateur fights. Only 7 amateur fights. Now, so I was looking for what separates them. And in Oscar Rivas' fight with Jennings, I noticed his last fight with Jennings. I noticed that when you actually look at the fight, you see that Jennings, after say the 5th or 6th rounds, Jennings was actually in the driving seat, not total driving seat, but he was leading the fight. Jennings was leading the fight. And when they got to the point after, say, the 5th round, and when they got to the point, where was it, the 11th or 12th round? Could have been the 12th round, where Rivas uncorked, and dropped and stopped Jennings. He was actually behind. He was actually behind in that fight. So we come down to skill levels and size. I think it comes down to skill and size. Because in the cardio department, Rivas was gassing. So it's not going to be a case or a question where you can say, okay, Rivas is going to have more stamina than White. That's not the case. So stamina is out of it. Stamina is not part of the equation. Hit the like button, guys. Hit that like button. Stamina is not a part of the equation. So now I think the other factors are skill and size. So skill-wise, yeah, Rivas went to the Olympics, sure. But Dillian White's been fighting a higher level of competition. So you can't say that Rivas has more skill than White. So that's a wash. That's leveled. That's a level playing field. And then you come down to size. And White is just a taller, thicker, longer guy. And we know what White's reach is like. He's got a long reach for even for his height. So I think that the fight comes down to, I think it's going to be size. Because skill, it's a wash. Level of competition, Dillian White gets that. He's fought consistently fought higher level competition. But Rivas was at the Olympics. So it washes out. It washes out. It comes down to, I think this fight, cardio is the same. They both haven't got the highest level of cardio. So that's the same. So the last factor comes down to size. And Dillian, Leighton Evelyn says I'm a Brummy Caribbean. Correcto Mondo. That's right. So Jeff Goff says, Raph, I just got back from work. I'm knackered. I'm about to tune in. What is the story behind your accent? Yeah. I answered that question before I read your question. Yeah. Jamaican parents. And come from Birmingham. So that's the accent. I also have an American connection. Some of my family members live in America. So that's the triangle. That's the triangle. Those are the three places I visit. Well, I'm here and I visit there and there. That's the triangle. So, yeah, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the size game. When everything else is equal, it comes down to size. And I think that Dillian White is going to be able to pick him off from range, pick him off with those long arms, and pow. He's going to drop that right hammer on him. He's going to drop that left hook on him. Upstairs, downstairs, to the head. I think it's going to be a very competitive fight, but Dillian is going to finish him. I think Dillian's going to finish him. In the later rounds, I think Dillian finishes him. Dillian is better than Rivas. That's my assessment. Let's go into the chat. Acid test for Rivas. Fair play for White, giving him the chance. Absolutely. 1-2-1-2, says Ped. Lugiza, White is a lot bigger than Rivas. Yes, he is. And I think when everything else is equal, size comes down to a factor. Is a factor. White's always improving. But White got heart of a lion. He has got the heart of a lion, says Leighton Evelyn. Brummy Caribbean, Leighton Evelyn is correct. King Slender, White will win in 8. Too much size. Big fight experience and drive. Rivas locked out his last fight. Yeah, you could say that for sure. Rivas really is not a top 10 guy. Well, he's ranked 15 in BoxRec. So that would be correct also. I expect a dominant win from White after 3 rounds sometime. Okay, that was King Slender. I say White in the later rounds. Ped, I've been there once. I think he's talking about Jamaica. Wicked. Tommy Temper. Is White still on the WBC route? He's still pushing that. He is still pushing that. It's not the size of the man in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the man. That's very true, Pablo. But I preference that. What I said before that is when everything else is equal. When everything else is equal, it comes down to size. So if they've got both about the same amount of fight in them, then, the big one. They say, the olden days, they say a good big one will beat a good little one. That's some Midlands talk. So long as everything else is equal. Tommy Temper says BoxRec rankings are suspect. Well, Tommy, I kind of have to disagree with you there because they're not as suspect as the officiating governing bodies ranking sometimes. Look at the WBO. Look at Schwartz, who's fighting, who's fighting, was Fury. Schwartz is ranked somewhere like, I don't know, I think the last time I checked, he was ranked somewhere like 45 or 35. 35 or 45 on BoxRec. In the WBO, he's ranked number 2. Big discrepancy. So I think BoxRec is a better guide of a fighter's caliber than the officiating bodies guide, WBA, WBC, IBO, IBF, etc. WBO. Certainly the WBO. Pablo says yes, he agrees. I think he's talking about the when everything else is equal. Okay. Right. Where are we? That's good. Okay, so now we get into the reason I called this meeting. We get into it. We are going to get into it now. Okay, I've been distracted because I couldn't find the particular control panel I was looking for. Now I find it. Now I find it late in the day. So we're all good. I can see my levels are good. Levels are high. Levels are high. Okay, now let's get into it. Let's get into this thing. This is why the meeting was called. We know the LDBC are going to have a field day with this thing. They are going to have an absolute field day. This is the final portion of the show. And we're here, gathered here today, dearly beloved, to discuss this matter, to discuss what Barry Hearn had to say. Let's cue this up and let's hopefully you can hear it.
These guys, we were slave traders.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Here we go.
The game was run in the past. Why do we have... He's not tied up like the slave contract of yesteryear. When I was running boxing, it was much easier. We were slave traders. We had these guys and they were working for us and we was the boss. The pendulum has swung. Now I have to say, Mr. Dillian, I have to be respectful. And it's really a nice position to be in because we can be honest with each other. Dillian, you're not under a long-term contract, but we like you. And Dylan's had tremendous offers from around the world, but he's backed himself. He's going to be a major player in his mind for some time to come. So,
could you hear that, guys? Could you hear that sound clip that I played? Could you hear the clip of Barry Hearn? Yup. Okay. Okay. So. Yeah, Leighton Evelyn said it sounds racist, but that's just an old timer talking. Yes, you could hear it. It was loud enough, says Tommy Temper. Okay, right. Okay, so this is the reason the meeting was convened. You know, every week we do these lives, the numbers go up a little bit. Now I'm looking at the numbers now. The second time was a bit higher than the first, and this is the third time, and it's significantly higher than the second. This thing is growing. It's growing. We are growing. We are growing. Right. First of all, shout out to John Warrior. John Warrior in the house. Yes. Marty Fieldman still in the house. Yes. I think I'd call what Mr. as well. Yes. Pablo still in the house. Leighton Everin. Ped still in the house. Tommy Temper still in the house. Pablo still in the house. Leighton Everin. The Geezer still in the house. Ped, Tommy Temper, Pablo, Jay Cleary still in the house. John Warrior just come in the house. Yes. So John and everybody, this is the last segment of the show. And this is the reason I called you guys for the meeting. Glad you came. And let's get into it. You just heard what Barry Hearn had to say. And we all know that it's going to cause a storm over the pond. It is going to. Yes, the name is hard to pronounce. Call me Eb, says Ebenezer Awusu Afria. Yeah, I'm going to call you Eb. So, yes. So, we've heard what Barry Hearn had to say, and we know it is going to cause a storm over the pond with them guys. We know who we are talking about. Let's say it. It's the, what do you call them? LDBC people. We know they are going to, the geezer said he watched it. I woke up this morning and I thought, which video am I going to do today? Not sure. Couple of options. Yeah, I could do this, could do that. And then I think was it lunchtime when I saw that? It was lunchtime when I saw that. I work local to my home. And whoa, it just made me laugh when I heard him say that. I said, that is the video for the morning. That's the video for the morning, and it's going to cause a storm with them boys over there. So I kind of have to do it anyway. Have to do it because, you know, those guys are going to use, those guys have been on the ropes. Those guys have been on the ropes. My video about Ortiz, Team Ortiz in tears, that's done like what? 4K. That's my biggest video ever. It's just a small channel. We've just started. And that thing's done just under, well, it was 4K before I came on here, 3K, 3.7K. By the time I come off, it'll probably be 4K. Yes, Marty Fieldman, that's who they are. It's going to be 4K. So those people are on the ropes. They are getting, I got my foot on the necks. You've seen the video I've been releasing. I mean, I'm not limited to just this guy and that guy. My videos are broad, but still, I've been keeping my foot on their necks. Team Ortiz in tears, just under 4K, probably 4K by the time 4,000 people watch that video. Those guys are getting the living stuffing kicked out of them. Absolutely kicked out of them. The Ortiz, Pet says Raphie and the landlord. The Ortiz situation where they lied vehemently and incessantly about Matchroom, the Zone, the landlord. What was that statement that the Ortiz said last year? Ortiz had the audacity to call the landlord a pussy. It was this year. Where are we? Yeah, this year or last year. Ortiz had the audacity to call the landlord a pussy. Pablo says, I saw you in the chat today, Raphie. Do you think Barry was drinking? Oh, yeah, I was in that chat. Yeah, I was thinking you meant the TBV chat. I ain't been in that chat for a long time, bro. Yeah, I was in that chat. Yeah. I saw you in the chat. Do you think Barry was drinking? Do you think Barry was drinking? Well, I don't know. I mean, pre-show nerves, maybe had a whiskey. He could have had a whiskey. Did one whiskey turn to two whiskey? Maybe. But I'm going to get into that. So Ortiz had the audacity to call the landlord a pussy. Who calls the landlord? What kind of a nerve? What kind of a nerve do you need to have? What kind of a nerve do you need to have to call the landlord a pussy when you know he's going to be coming to collect your rent? What an impertinent character is Ortiz. Okay, so he calls him a pussy. He could do that earlier on in the year or last year because those guys over there, I call them those guys over there, those crazy guys over the pond, they're so deep with their narratives and they ram it home so frequently, and they blanket the scene with their narrative. or have done. And then there's a few of us who kick out. I'm one of them. Kick out against them. Me, Bruce Vane, Ring IQ. Kick out against them. But now with this Ortiz thing, it just totally effed them up. It totally effed them up because they were pushing the narrative along with the TBV. Along with the TBV, they're pushing the narrative that 5 mil was a low ball. Then it turns out that Miller only had a flat rate of 4.8. He was going to get a bonus, which would bring him up potentially to 6.5. But his flat rate was 4.8. They offered Ortiz in excess of 5 mil for 6 weeks work. So Miller was getting 4.8 minus the bonus for 12 weeks work, including the fight, and Ortiz was getting in excess of 5 mil for 6 weeks work. It was like 7 mil, Raph, says Leighton. Right. I haven't seen that, but yeah. 7 mil for who? You mean Ortiz? Are you saying 7 mil for Ortiz? Any bidders? Any bidders? 7 mil for Ortiz or 7 mil for Miller? I know it's 4.8 for Miller. Ortiz, okay, there we go. Right, so it's 4.8 for Miller with the potential with pay-per-view to rise to 6.5. Of course, it's life-changing cheddar, Shola. So Ortiz was getting paid more than Miller. But yet, the narrative of them boys over there, that's what I call them, the narrative of those deluded ones was that he was being shortchanged. He was being lowballed. The guy, Ortiz, wasn't being lowballed, he was being highballed. So Ortiz's manager goes on TBV last week and says, oh, he's sorry. He's sorry. But this is after Eddie Hearn has said he's going to expose them. He's going to expose their lies. They scramble. They go into panic mode. Go on TBV. And come out with this sob story. Oh, we're sorry. We're sorry. We weren't lowballed. It was our mistake. The promoter didn't tell us. But here's the thing. I think that visit to TBV was a double bluff. The first bluff was when they said they were lowballed. And the second bluff was when they went on TV and they said, oh, we're sorry. Really, that's the equivalent of someone smoking a joint, a spliff, driving a car. They get pulled over by the police. And they go, what's that smell? And the guy goes, oh, sorry. I was just, it's put it out by now. I was just smoking a spliff. And the policeman goes, why would this guy just volunteer that information? Why would he not deny it? That's because he's probably got a bootload. Of weed. So he fesses up to one charge to act as a distraction technique from the real crime. The real crime here is the bootload of weed. And in the analogy I just gave you, and the real crime in the Ortiz story is that they fessed up to lying about the lowball to avoid the reality in this hypothesis that Ortiz just didn't want the fight. Let that sink in. Mull that over. They went on TBV, came out with this sub story. They said they were sorry. They said, oh, it's the promoter's fault. Bear in mind the promoter's probably in on this. Hit the like button. Bear in mind the promoter's in on this. Yeah? According to my hypothesis, they've sat down with the promoter and said, how are we going to get out of this? The reality is Ortiz either doesn't want the fight or can't fight. doesn't want the fight or can't fight. There's two reasons why he can't fight, potentially. If he can't fight, there's two reasons for that. One, he's got certain things in his system, A, or B, Al Heyman has told him he can't fight. Ortiz has told him he can't. DJ C Rock, I just heard Ruiz getting that fight for June the 1st. Yes. Yes, he is. That's what I've been told by these by my peeps here. Right. So they've used that story. I don't believe he doesn't want the fight. Okay, I like that. Tommy Temper says, I don't believe he doesn't want. Well, listen to this, Tommy, because I'm talking to you now as well as everybody else. All right. If he's got stuff in his system, Tommy, then he can't take the fight. A. B. If Al Heyman has said, yo, Pablo saying Ralph spitting them truth analogies, I believe this is the truth. So A, if he can't take the fight, it's because he's got shit in his system. A. B, if he can't take the fight, it's because Al Heyman's told him to sit down. We got you. Sit down, we got you. So what do? They go on a media campaign saying, we are sorry. It was our fault. We made a mistake. The time's gone now. We can't take the fight, and it was all our fault. We apologize to Matchroom. We apologize to the Zone. We apologize to Eddie. The information I got was incorrect. I'm so sorry. It's incorrect. We're wrong. We have to hold the L. It's our fault. We hold the L. And all of this is the equivalent of the guy who was smoking a spliff, gets pulled over by police. He's thrown the spliff away. The police said, I can smell weed. And he goes, sorry, officer, I was just smoking a spliff. I was just smoking a joint. All of that to detract from the fact that he's got a boot full. He's got a boot full of herb, what we call herb. Yeah? Got a boot full of herb, fresh herb. That is what, in my opinion, according to my hypothesis, that is what Team Ortiz did. They successfully hoodwinked every mofo, 99% of individuals. They successfully hoodwinked them in a brilliant way. In a brilliant way. They came out with their hands up. They came out of the car with their hands raised. Sorry, officer. Sorry, it's our fault. It's our fault. No, it's too easy. It's too easy. It's a distraction technique. Ortiz, according to my hypothesis, Ortiz either didn't want the fight or couldn't take the fight. If he didn't want, of course he wants the fight, so he couldn't take the fight. There's only two reasons why he couldn't take the fight. He had shit in his system, or Al Heyman said, listen, sit down, we got you. No, Ortiz is not getting the fight, Ebo. Ortiz is not getting the fight. Ruiz is getting the fight. Ruiz, not Ortiz. Ruiz, the Mexican. Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is getting the fight, according to my reliable sources. Right. So, people, I maintain that TBV interview was a ruse. It was a ruse. It was a smoke screen, and it was a damn good smoke screen too. Wicked smoke screen. Threw everybody off the scent. LJ Craver, welcome into the chat. LJ Craver said Ruiz ain't no mug. I'm trying to tell people that Ruiz is a serious guy. He beat Ortiz. He beat Parker. Ruiz has, in my book, has never lost a fight. Ruiz has never lost a fight. I want people to start taking him seriously. He's a serious guy. Go and watch some of his fights. He's a serious guy. Yes, Marty Fieldman says he's having a spliff. Yeah, I don't do that shit no more. I just stick to a little bit of tobacco, roll up with the filter in. It's not the best for your health, but it's okay. A mild smoker, very, very mild. I've had my lungs checked. They're clean. Doctor said your lungs are that of a non-smoker. I smoke very lightly, always with a filter. Roll up myself, pack it tight. So yeah, very minimal nicotine gets into my system. Right. So Leighton Evelyn says he's trying to make sure he didn't get that drug test. He didn't want that drug test after Miller. The geezer says eat some cake. So, people, that is my hypothesis. My hypothesis is that TBV interview was a smokescreen because Ortiz could not take the fight. Leighton Evelyn says, "Are we doing a chat on Joshua fight night?" Yeah, absolutely. Come fight night, we will be doing a live chat. We're gonna be up. If you're up, you might as well be up with me. I'm gonna be up. We're gonna be watching the fight. We're doing a live fight chat. Are you talking about a live fight chat, Leighton Evelyn? Are you talking about a live fight chat? Because that's what I'm talking about. I'm there, Raph. Yes, 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 exactly. That's what we're talking about. Right. So let's go through some of these comments. Can't fight. I'd go with. Yeah, 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 yeah. He might be on Peds too. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ortiz gets, yeah. It was like 7 mil, Raph says Leighton Evelyn. Yep, yep. Still life changing money, says Shola. Yep. Jamie Gregory in the house. I don't think it's 8. I think it's 7. It's in excess of 6.5, which was the most that Miller was projected to get. Jamie. PBC told him you should get 10. Yeah, I think that's all a smokescreen. The 10 was a smokescreen. He couldn't take the fight. I believe he wanted the fight, but I believe he could not take the fight. Leighton Evelyn, bang on Raph. Jamie Gregory, and he has 4 belts. Wilder only has 1. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hit the like button, guys. Leighton Evelyn. Where are we? 38 likes. That's good. 22 now watching. That's wicked. PBC fighters are slaves. Listen, they have to obey. They're like puppets on a string. They are like puppets on a string. Ortiz has got a boot full of weed. In the equation, Ortiz has a boot full of weed. In this equation, he has a boot full of weed. His team are given a smoke screen to the reality, the real crime. They're fessing up to the spliff. They're not fessing up to the fucking boat, the bootload of what they got in the boot. They're not fessing up to that. John Warrior, he might be on PEDs. He might be. It's either PEDs or orders. Because remember, the PBC want to keep Ortiz as the boogeyman. They want to keep him as the boogeyman. If Ortiz steps in with Joshua and Joshua smacks him about the ring and knocks him through the ropes, I have a vision of Joshua knocking him through the ropes. If Joshua knocks him through the ropes, then who's the boogeyman now? Who's the boogeyman now? Wilder. I think, is that the first time I mentioned his name? We don't talk about Wilder as much as some people think. Wilder likes to say, "Listen, I fought the boogeyman." What happens if you see the boogeyman flying through the ropes? Flying in between, literally flying in between the ropes, which I think is what I visualize it. I visualize Joshua just cracking him and knocking him through the ropes. Knocking him through the ropes. Yeah, bro. Leighton Evelyn, the geezer. That sounds cool. Live fight chat. Live fight chat, guys. The geezer. Any money over $1 million is worth a fight. Of course. Nexus 1 is in the house. Better late than never. Nexus showed up. Yes, yes, yes. Wilder is all talk. Yes, he is, but he's got all talk and a big right hand. He's all talk and a big right hand, believe you me. And then the clubbing at the back of the head afterwards, after he catches you with the right. It's the right, then the clubbing. Okay. So once again, Ortiz gets knocked out. People will say he was, there we go. Another excuse he's going to come up with. They're going to come up with that excuse. He was old. All of a sudden, he was old. Yeah, that's what they're going to say. If Breezel beats Wilder, I say no chance. No, you know what disappointed me about Breezel? In the face-off, he looked shook. Somebody disagree with me if you disagree with me. But in the face-off, Breezel looked shook. Breezel looked too scared to speak till the very end of the face-off. He stood there. He stood there, and with the turtleneck, it's like the turtleneck was choking him. So he's standing there in a turtleneck, and the turtleneck's like he's choking him, and he looks like one of the Queen's corgis. You know, the Queen of England, she has corgis. He looked just like the Queen's corg, one of the Queen's corgis, and he didn't say a word until the very end. I was very, very disappointed. He looked shook, absolutely shook, and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope I misread him, but he looked totally shook to me, and that's extremely disappointing. Shola Ibo says he looks totally shook. I hate the fact that I might be right. I want it. Sometimes you want to be wrong. And this is one of those times where I want to be wrong. Yeah. King Slender says, from a US point of view, I honestly don't think Breezel takes Wilder much threat after AJ. It's a close 50-50 fight according to King Slender. Yeah, we spoke about this before, King Slender. You think it's a close fight. I think he gets taken out within 3. I hope you're right and I'm wrong. Ebo says Wilder is loud, so I think he stayed calm. That's a possibility, and I hope that's the reality. Leighton Evelyn, but Raph, those comments Wilder said about Breezel's kids must be a motivator. Yes, I would have hoped so, and I would have hoped that he'd have had more fire in the face-off. I would hope you'd had more fire in the face-off. Even if he just said, I'm going to smash you. Or even he just whispered, I'm going to smash you. Just something aggressive or hostile, something. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm 100% wrong. I'll be happy to be. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. Tell me Timber says I agree with Eb. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong because I want Breezel to give him a fight. But look at this. Calculate this. Is it true or is it not that Breezel's like a walking punch bag? Is it true or false that Breezel is like a walking punch bag that punches back occasionally? The geezer said he just wanted to show that Wilder's mouth didn't bother him. Yeah, I hope so. But most hard men don't do talking. Cool. That's great. Like Frankenstein. He stood up like Frankenstein. I want to be wrong on this. I totally want to be wrong. But let's get to the clincher and let's close this out. I like to do 1.5 hours. I know people have things to finish off their nights with, so I like to keep these things at 1.5 hours. So let's get to the clincher with this. Let's seal the deal with this topic of what Barry Hearn said. Okay. There's no point in me having my notes because I never really can figure out what the hell I meant to say. So I'll just talk. I'll say what I'm thinking. Right. First and foremost, yes. When people use the word slave, wrongly, people always think of the transatlantic slave trade from Africa to Europe and the Americas, North and South America. Yeah. So hundreds of years ago, some wicked, evilous people, thought that they could use other people from another land as commodities. And they would bring them in ships from Africa, the motherland, the cradle of civilization. From Africa, they would ship them to different parts of Europe and North America and South America. And that is what people think of. That is what people think of when they hear the word slave. But we have to remember that the world is thousands of years old, and slavery has always been a part of reality. You know, so you've had slavery in Europe under a different form. You had slavery in Russia. You've had slavery in the Baltic states. Yeah, that's parts of Russia as well. You have slavery in the Arab world. The Arabs went to Africa also. So you have white slavery, you have Arab slavery, Arabs enslaving Arabs. You had slaves in the days of the Incas. The Mayans took slaves of sorts. I'm not saying specifically the Mayans, but in that part of the world, that region of the world in Latin America, before African slavery. So Irish slaves. Pablo says the Irish slaves that are taken to Barbados, they call them the red legs because of the insect bites and whatnot. They ended up with red legs, and their descendants are still in Barbados to this day. To this day. It's no joking matter, so I won't do that. So when people say slavery, really and truly, it's tiring to me. People have to listen, get a book and read about the history of slavery, not just the transatlantic slavery, just the, Leighton Everly's laughing, to the history of slavery. It's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. In so many different places, so many different regions. Take Africa out of the equation. Let's pretend Africa never existed. Slavery still exists almost all over the world. Yeah, from ancient times. Irish slaves that's new to me. I'm Irish. Tommy Temper said. Yeah, you didn't know that, Tommy. Yeah, Irish slaves were taken to various places. Barbados was a popular spot for them. There's a history of that. You can research that. That's a real thing. It's a real thing. They were called redlegs. Their descendants still exist over there in Barbados. They were called redlegs because of the short trousers they wore and the insects, which they obviously didn't have in Ireland. They would get insect bites, and they were known as redlegs. Yeah. Read up about it. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Right. So let's just go through some of these words. You're doing all right. Lol. He's slow as molasses. Most hard men don't talk. Yeah. Like Frankenstein. Yeah. Says Leighton Evelyn. Silence might give Wilder a false sense of confidence. John Warrior says. King Slender. Breezel looking like a beast. People will be surprised, win or lose. Okay. I hope you're right. Shola. Ebo. He's as slow as molasses. I got no faith in Breeze. So, yeah, man. I wish I was wrong. I still hope he can uncork something. That's my only hope. My only hope is Breeze can uncork something. That's my only hope. I might put a 5 on him as an outsider. You're doing all right, Lol. Leighton Evelyn. Yeah, white slaves today. Yeah. Irish slaves, Pablo. Leighton Evelyn, yep. Pablo, facts, Ped, to this day. Irish slave, that's new to me. I'm Irish, says Tommy Temper. Yeah, it's a real thing, bro. Sad thing, but real thing. Modern day boxing is slavery to this day. It's not as straightforward as people think. It's not as straightforward as people think, Geezer. Tommy Temper, I didn't know that at all. Yeah, it's a real thing, bro. Read up into it. Listen, I like history. I like history, and I know a bit about history. I'm not a historian, but I know a little bit about history. I've always had a kinship with history, all kinds of history, not just one little bit from one little place, all kinds of history. It's a really touchy subject to African Americans. Yeah, it's a touchy subject to African Americans. It's a touchy subject to anyone who was extracted from Africa against their will. Yeah, but then you have to acquaint yourself with the facts and look at the bigger picture. The problem is that, I'll say the problem is that there was so much destruction of these places by Europeans that sometimes they almost wanted, these wicked men from the past, they almost wanted to pretend and act as if nothing existed before slavery from Africa. Nothing existed. No, he was just there chilling out and waiting for something to happen. Yeah, I'm really bored. I wonder if anything's gonna happen. I'm in chains. So it's ridiculous. There's like thousands of years of history of Africa pre-slavery. But it's almost as if that gets forgotten, that gets wiped out. No, nothing ever happened before slavery. And that's the problem. If anybody thinks nothing ever happened in Africa before slavery, then they're mentally fucked. And I understand why, because the schools don't teach you anything about Africa pre-slavery. So there's this mind-numbing kind of thought process that nothing existed in Africa before slavery. And it's totally ridiculous. Africa has a rich history pre-slavery. Slavery was just something that happened over a period of time. It's a terrible thing that happened, but for people to think that nothing ever existed before that is where people get mentally fucked. You know what I'm saying? Pardon my expression. Slavery in Australia. There we go. Anthony Willis coming out with stuff. So for anyone to be mentally balanced, they have to have a balanced view of life and the world. If you don't have a balanced view of life and the world, then you're going to be fucked. If you just see life through a little pinhead and nothing else exists beyond the pinhead, then my friend, man or woman, you are fucked. You know, you have to look at history as a whole, broader history, worldwide history. And then when you look at the world, the history of the world, and you see the wickedness that took place in the Baltic states, the wickedness that took place in Russia, the wickedness that took place in Cambodia, the wickedness that took place in China, every area of the world has experienced serious, serious atrocities. That's not diminishing slavery as the transatlantic slavery. But you see, you have to specify the transatlantic slavery. If you say slavery to me, it could mean so many things, so many different things from so many different places. And when you only see the world through a pinhole, you are fucked. Tommy Temper says you should recommend documentaries to watch. I will do some research, and I will. As a matter of fact, I was going to do a video on slavery before this, just to show that it was a worldwide thing. Because I remember doing some research. I'll look through my research papers, Tommy, and in one of the live chats, I will do some recommendation in the live chats rather than in a video, because it won't seem to fit in with anything. The Giza slavery all over the world, even today. To this day, I should stop doing that. All right, so I just needed to say that to put the thing into context. I needed to put the thing into context that so people need to get away. I want people to be enlightened and get away from thinking slavery equals people from Africa, transatlantic slavery. There's much more. Slavery is much more than that in much more different places. And it still exists to this day. Still exists to this day. Ebo says Asia, watch the slave trade on Congo and Barbados. Okay. The colonial powers destroyed the history of the people they subjugated. Yes, Nexus. Yes, correct. So you steal people from a place and then destroy the history of that location like nothing ever happened in that location prior to slavery, like people just chilling. So I said that to get things into context. So when Barry Hearn says slaves, people are foolish if they think that's just Africa. Right. Now let's get deeper. Black fighters, white fighters. We're talking about England. So Matchroom dealt with white fighters as well as black fighters. They may have had more white fighters than they did black fighters. I don't know. It could have been 50-50. So why then would someone think that they're talking about black people? It's ridiculous. It's backward thinking. They had black fighters. They had white fighters. So my response to the LDBC, those guys, is, hold on. What about the white guys that were fighting on the Matchroom? Do they not count? No, they count. They count too. They could have been slaves too. Yeah? Slaves. What are we talking about? We're talking about economic slaves. Yeah, we're talking about slaves, people working in a hard job because they have to. That's the way they earn their living, or they choose to because that's the way they earn their living. No one was working against their will. Okay? So a key ingredient of slavery is someone subjugated and working against their will. That means if they want to leave, they can't leave. Yeah, these guys could have tore up their contracts and left. So let's not try and say that they were the typical slaves from the Baltic states, from Africa, from the Arab lands, from Ireland, the redlegs from Ireland, uh, slaves captured from different villages in North America. I mean South America. You know, native Indian slaves. Yeah, no, not that type of slavery. We're talking about people who have the right to walk away. People who have the right to walk away. Yeah, preach real shot, Raph. Intelligent talk, not bias. Yeah, yeah. What bias? Who does that serve? Who does it serve to be biased? We're trying to be balanced. We're trying to be level. And you can only be level. And if you're not level, then you're relatively fucked, as far as I'm concerned. So talking to you guys, but really, I'm trying to address what's going to come from the other side, the LBDC side, whatever, LDBC. So that's one, black and white fighters addressing the LDBC. Two, LDBC taking slave. Oh, you just reminded me of something. Two, if you listen carefully to what Barry Hearn said, he said that Dillian White was worked on a fight by fight basis. Fight by fight basis. That means that he is the master. I don't know if you saw my last video, but I talk about this, what Barry Hearn said. He is the master of his own destiny. He walks when he wants to walk. He talks to whom he wants to talk, who he sees fit to talk to. He makes contracts with those whom he sees fit to make contracts with. Where's the slavery there? No, there is none. Okay, so now they're going to go back and say, okay, yeah, well, Dillian White's not a slave, but Barry Hearn said they were slave owners. Yeah, they were slave owners in a sense, not the traditional slave, but they had guys who needed them for their survival. Now, over in America, it was the same. So why are you singling out Barry Hearn? Really, it was a quip. It was a QUIP quip. I don't know if I'm going to have to go into Google and pull up the damn definition of a quip, but I'm going to leave you LDBC guys to figure that out for yourselves. QUIP, quip. Look it up. That's what it was. Now, did the quip have an element of truth to it? In a sense, loosely. Very, very loose element of truth, in so much that people were dependent on them. Leighton Evelyn says it's context, bro. Well, LDBC will twist it. Of course they're going to twist it. I'm trying to be the antidote to that shit. So, yeah. So it was a quip. Did it have an element of truth in it? Yeah. A slight element of truth. Very, very slight. Very, very slight, in so much as that guys were tied up in contracts. So they weren't tied in chains, but they were tied up in contracts. There you go. No chains, but contracts. Tied up in contracts. Yeah, fine. Today's different. Typically, a guy working for Matchroom, they'll get a 3-fight contract. So they're the exact opposite of slaves, or as far from slaves as you can get. Whilst there's a certain element of solidity. So you've got a guy for 3 fights. You can walk after 3 fights, but you've got stability is the word I was looking for. You have an element of stability. Okay, so we have an element of stability. Guys can stay for 3 fights, and then you're free to leave. The so-called slaves were not tied in chains. They were tied up in contracts. That's the reality on this side of the pond and on that side of the pond. So nothing different here to over there. Now, here's my key point. Slavery's finished over here. That's that kind of slavery, that tied up in contract slavery. But it's still very alive over there. So you LDBC people, you are the slave owners of today. You are the ones tying people up in contracts. You are the ones telling people like Luis Ortiz that who they can fight and who they can't fight and when they can fight and when they can't fight. So LDBC, my message to you is that you over there, you are the slave owners of today, still having people tied up in bondage, still preventing them from plying their trade, and still wrapping them up and preventing them from maximizing their earning potential. As we've just seen with Luis Ortiz, and as we saw earlier on, but it's a bit of disguise with it, with what's the boy's name? Deontay Wilder. So you, the LDBC guys, you are the slave owners of today. Right, guys, that was my closing argument. I'm going to go through your messages. Anybody who's just come in here or anybody who hasn't smashed the like button yet, please smash the like button. We are doing the wrap ups, just going through Irish Slaves of Montserrat. Wow, I didn't know that. The Red Legs, okay, I'll check it out. Definitely check out the Red Legs, Tommy Temper. You can go into Google Images right away and you will see the Red Legs. And descendants of the Red Legs still exist in Barbados to this day. Said I wouldn't do that again, didn't I? But anyway, Red Legs, Irish slaves. I didn't know that, and I'm Irish. Leighton, I didn't know that, and I'm Irish. Barbados. Who's Irish Barbados? Leighton Evelyn, you're Irish Barbados? Okay, cool. Anthony Willis, slavery in Australia. Yeah, no doubt. Tommy Temper, you should recommend. Oh yeah, for sure. I'll look into that. Yeah. China. Oh fucking hell. Yeah, big. Lot of bad things going on around the world, and some bad things going on in China for sure. And you know they're doing certain things. China are doing certain things, which I'm not going to get into right now. But they're going into Africa and they're doing certain things which are not good. That's what I'm going to say about that today. But a lot of African people will know what I'm talking about or alluding to. You know, land is getting taken, and it's a big thing. It's a big thing. Not going to go into that right now. It's a major part of Afro-American identity, and they are going to be ringing every last drop from this. Yes, I will readdress this if the LDBC gets out of hand. I will revisit this topic. I think I will be revisiting this topic multiple times. Anybody who's in here and who hasn't smashed the like button but who has enjoyed the product, please smash the like button. Nexus 1. The colonial powers destroy the history. Absolutely. There is a museum in Barbados that I can get into for free because of my surname. That is very, very interesting. Evelyn, okay. John Warrior, well-rounded discussion. Only wish the LDBC channels were more informed and educated. Unfortunately, the leaders of those channels want to keep people uneducated, and that's a problem. The geezer, we are all slaves to society. Absolutely. Ebo, Matchroom has proven they do honest business. Look at their fighters. They're getting their worth. Absolutely. Leighton Evelyn, yeah, preach real shit. Raph, intelligent talk, not biased. Yes, I appreciate that, Evelyn. Leighton, Ebo, LDBC talking slaves don't count. Taking slaves don't count. They have a small mind and feed on negative energy. 100%. 100%. Small minds and feed on negative energy. That's their calling card. That is their calling card. There's no black promoters. There are also black promoters and managers. Absolutely. Tommy Temper, Tony Bellew had the same arrangement. I think fight by fight, yeah, or 2 fights or 3 fights, but it's small contracts. They're not tied up in any form of bondage. It's context, bro. The LDBC will twist it, says Leighton Evelyn. Absolutely, they will, and they do. That's their calling card. Twist, distort, misrepresent. That's what they do. One of the biggest atrocities was committed against the Native Americans, estimated 60 million murdered but it's kept on the low because of the powers that be. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big number, and that's horrific. That is horrific. Ebola, schools, lies to us all. Yeah, lies, schools. Yeah, schools. That's another topic. That's another topic. I will get into that at a later stage, deeper into these conversations. LDBC always using emotive images, fabricating issues to excite their lemmings. 100 says Anthony Willis. Anthony Willis, thank you for joining us. Paper chains. Yeah, paper chains. Yeah, can be just as strong. Tommy Temper, Don King had the worst contracts. He was up there. He was up there. He was bad. He was bad. He was very, very bad. But I'm not going to let Barbaram off the hook. You know, I'm going to be doing programs about those two also and many more. There'll be, yeah, there'll definitely be discussions. You know, I'll do some research topics and deliver some talks on those people and others. That's my intention. Marty Feldman, Don King ripped off Ali left, right, and center. Yes, he did. He was wicked, wicked. Did some wicked things. Very, very wicked. Pid, thumbs up. Shola, Ebo, LDBC don't care about Ortiz feeding his family. They're slave masters. They're slave master lovers. Yeah, slave master lovers. Like Evelyn over in America, I don't get. They like calling themselves African American, but don't call white people European American. Over here, we call ourselves British, no matter the creed or color. That's true. That's true. Bed, laugh. Ozzy Moon, breaking news: Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. It's official. Yeah, it's been broken here, Ozzy. And welcome to the chat, Ozzy. Anthony Willis, Ruiz fight official. Every time I do a live chat, news breaks. Last time, the time before, every time I'm on a live chat, news breaks. But that's good. Pablo, thank you for the show, Raphie. Really enjoyed it. Used to listen to you on TBV. I'm new sub. Thank you, Pablo. Yes, a lot of people, most of the people in this chat used to listen to me on TBV. I think certainly more than 70%. I would say at least 80% of these people, well, originally the first two chats, now I'm seeing some new faces, but I still say before it was 99%, now it's about 80%. That's about 80% now. It'll go down less and less as time goes by, but the original first chat, I think that was 99% guys who I knew or knew me from TBV, one way or the other. Either or both. Thank you, Pablo. Anthony Willis, poor bastard. Ortiz missing out on some serious bread. I believe he is. I believe he is. If you weren't here at the beginning, though, you'd have to go back to listen to some of the stuff that we talked about before, which might be a factor in why he didn't take the fight. Anthony Willis. Let Evelyn. Big show again, Raphie. Brother, it's growing, bro. Yeah, it is growing. I mean, my subs, I started off, when I left TBV, I had 12, I think I had no subs. And then, but I never really thought of it because I think I may have took a week before I did my first video. So I went to look at my subs and somebody told me that, haha, you've got 12 subs. And I looked and I thought, oh, I've never looked at the subs. So I went to look and I had 12 subs. And yeah, that could be a problem. That could be a problem. But then I just started the channel anyway, and the subs have just grown. They've just grown and grown and grown, you know, from 0 people to 12 people. Because I had a previous account, which is my personal account, but obviously with this was, you know, my boxing account. The previous one was my personal account. This is my boxing account. My personal account, there's a few more subs on it. But even then, it wasn't a channel, so I wasn't asking for people to sub to me. Anybody who subbed to that was just, I'm going to type something they liked and they subbed, you know. But this one, obviously I need subs because without subs, high subs, you have lesser visibility. So when I break a news story, I might get 100 people watch it. Somebody else comes 12 hours later, tells the same story, they get thousands. And that's all based on the number of subs you have. So that's why you have to have subs, you know what I'm saying? And the more subs, the more visible you become. The more visible become, the more your message spreads. So Obviously, I got to get subs to spread the message. Although, to be honest with you, the flow of the conversations in the chats has been perfect to me. So it's like, do you really need thousands of subs? Not really, because this kind of level of flow of conversation is perfect to me. But obviously, to get the message out, you need subs. So that's why you need subs. And forget the original point is, but yeah, it's growing. It's growing. And in the last couple of weeks, since the last couple of weeks, for some reason, it's just been upward trajectory. It's like every day new subs, whereas before it might be every other day. But now it's like every single day the subs are just it's taking off. It really is taking off. Um, where are we? Fight official. Thank you for the show. Yes, Pablo. Thanks for subbing. That's good. The shows basically it's going two shows a week for Wednesday and Friday, two live shows, Wednesday and Friday. This was a special edition because of what Barry said, and I needed to address it. So we had an argument from our side. We have an argument from our side because I know them guys over there, they're gonna go batshit crazy with this. So I needed to address this. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure because the two shows I've done so far on the Wednesday and the Friday, they went really well. But I thought, well, can I just decide to make a show and it be successful? And it has been successful. But I talked to Ped first, then I talked to Tommy Temper. I asked their advice because they're the two main guys that I spoke to when I was thinking about doing this, and they were in favor of it. So I sounded them out about it, and they said, "Yeah, do it, go for it." So I thought, okay, and I went for it, and it's been as successful as it's more successful than the first one, and more successful than the second one. Successful in terms of numbers of people viewing at any given time. Um, all of them have been successful in terms of the flow. There's people here contributing, and then that makes it easy for me to just flow with my topic sheet. Between the topic sheet and the chat, it's just very easy. The hardest thing is setting up and thinking, bloody hell, I wonder if anybody's going to be here. I wonder if anybody's going to be here. That's the nerve-wracking thing. But other than that, boom, you know, it's it's easy. It's good. It's good. Yes, yes, yes for life, says Jake Clary. Much appreciated. Ped is strong in the house. I use him as a soundboard. I bounce some ideas off him. He's very helpful. I appreciate him. Tommy Gunn is the same. Tommy Gunn. Tommy Temper's the same. I run ideas past him. He gives me feedback, which I appreciate. Letting Evelyn needs to fade. Needs to fade. Mark. Yes, 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 yes. Needs to fade. Needs to fade. Wicked showman, says Pablo. Yeah. Wicked representation from the people of my chat. Shola Ebo said, hope you can have some debates on your channel with some LDBC retards in the near future. Then we can really put them on the sword. Yeah, yeah, put the sword to them. Raw. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. At the moment, yeah, I would do that. I'd happily do that. I go to their backyards. You know what I'm saying? I go to their backyards. My backyard, they can come to my backyard, but really I like to go to their backyards. To have them here, for me to debate with them here, it's almost, it's almost kind of retarded. It kind of muddies. I don't know if it would muddy the platform, although it wouldn't, because you have to teach, you have to speak to some retro people, some people who ain't too smart sometimes. So, but I kind of like to go to their backyards and drag them through the dirt in their backyards. I'd like to reserve this place for more intelligent discourse. LDBC won't know what to say, says Ebo. Peds, yeah, Ped hears me. Cheers, Jake, bro, says Leighton. Jake Cleary, yes, yes, yes for life. Yes, Jake, back at you, Ped, 100%. Yeah, show that message. Need to fade. Jake Cleary, Shola, Jake Cleary. Fact, Raphie, already a star. and man gonna grow. Yes, Jake, I appreciate that. I hope that's right because the numbers may mean that, my stuff gets pushed out there. I need them subscribers to get my stuff pushed out. So yeah, but it's growing every day. Trust me, Jake, it's growing every day. Every day. Yes, he is. Yes, yes, yes. So it's like God of War, Shola Ebo, Marty Fieldman. This is the final roll call. Leighton Evelyn, Tommy Temper, Ped, Tommy Temper, Leighton Evelyn, Jake Cleary, Shola Ebo, Ped, Pablo, Tommy Temper, Ebo, Nexus One, Shola Ebo, John Warrior, Jake Cleary. I think that's everybody. Everybody, thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. It was a great conversation, great dialogue. You still got a little bit, 1 hour of your night left, 1 hour, 5 minutes of your night left. So I've still left you with a little bit of time. We've run over. I tried to keep it at 1.5 hours. We started at 9. It's now 10:57. I appreciate your participation. It is essential for the show. You have come through once again. I have come through once again. Peace, love, respect. Have a great night. Thank you. Peace out. Respect to all.